Larson?
Frankie?
Oh, Siniglia. Yeah. He's out.
We are live.
Cool.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
We can keep talking. Yeah, Frank might be back.
Frank says he's
Talking
back
about
on
Frankie
April
Siniglia.
29th.
April 29th.
Isn't that what he said to us?
Yeah, Frank's got the countdown. I love it. Do you guys play like club with any of the Melville guys? You friends with any of those kids?
I played with.
Here, grab that mic so they can hear.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be.
I played with two of the face-off kids, Nick Troy and Wang. I played with both of them.
Okay, gotcha.
Like,
yeah.
Troy was when I was a lot younger. Wang was somewhat more recent. Neither of them very recent. Like last couple of years, like 4 or 5 years ago each.
Yeah.
Like they were both a lot of fun to be around. They're both very good.
Yeah, they're legit. I noticed Brandon Avila start taking the face-offs too. Is that like
he's
new?
got a lot of reps too.
Gotcha.
All three of them. They're three very good face-off kids, all on the same team.
Yeah, that helps. It's funny. Everyone's talking about how Melville is having kind of like a down year, but they still have like really good guys I feel like at each position. But for you guys, you scrimmaged them. What did you think of them?
Yeah,
Yeah, grab that.
they were a tough team offensively, but we did good offensively, so it was good on the face-offs. We kept on winning those, so that was good.
You guys put up pretty good numbers against them?
Yeah.
How many goals did you score during the scrimmage?
I think I had 4 goals, and draws was like above 75%, so that was good.
Nice. So
You
you
got
got.
to talk about their draw guy. Let's talk about the cyanide draw guy.
Yeah.
And just make sure when you talk to them, it's got to be like super, super close.
Yeah.
So like right here.
Yeah, it's straight. Yeah, exactly. Straight.
You-
You can't talking to the side of you.
All right.
You want to talk about Sweeney?
Let's give Kevin Sweeney a little love, the hard work.
Give his story. Talk about Sweeney's story a little bit. I like how Papa Sabella was talking about just kind of like where he was and to where he is today. Shed some light. Yeah, give that same story you talked about earlier. That was cool.
So Kev was a backup face-off kid last year to Chris Stein, who couldn't play this year, not sure why, but he stepped up big time over all the summer, the entire winter, fall, etc. While we were playing other sports, he was working, just working at face-offs, and now he's beating everybody.
That's awesome. And he's having a big year, right? He's not only like starting, he's playing well for you guys.
It's been huge. He's been winning. We've been dominating the face-off X against everybody we've been against so far, at least.
Yeah. It's funny, his story, and there's I've kind of heard other stories like it, just with that position, because it's kind of like wrestling. It's very like matchup oriented. It's very one-on-one based, and it's kind of like if you work really hard at it, I feel like you could be successful at it. So it's cool to hear like that, because I don't know, that stuff kind of translates in my. I love to see when things happen on a lacrosse field that also translate to like real life situations. You just outwork people, and all of a sudden you get the starting job. It's pretty cool to see that. Joey, how do you like having a good face-off guy? Talk about what that means for you as an attackman.
Yeah, it's good because we get the ball 4 or 5 more times a game.
Yeah.
And Sweeney plays on my travel team. We took him on last year, and he hit him and Kobe Gander, who's committed to Princeton. They've been working, which helped him to get him to where he is now, and which is helping us win games.
Before Sweeney took over and got the starting spot, did you kind of know that he'd be a kid that would play for you eventually, just because of his work ethic, knowing him from like a younger age?
Yeah, I did. He tried out for the crush team a couple of years ago, and we had like 2 or 3 guys at the time, so we just didn't really think of taking another guy. Kind of no point to it. But then he just kept working, and now he's on probably one of the best travel teams to ever play.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a good story to kind of hear. And talk about some of the other personnel on your team. Who are some of your teammates that maybe don't get as much press or as much exposure, but have been like impact players for you guys so far this season?
Personally, Oscar Reno is a big in between the lines guy for us.
Yeah.
He's really good defensively. He scores a goal a game just from cutting and he's a good teammate, just a good guy to just have and just be around, and he's a senior captain, so he's good leadership for us young guys.
So
which is good.
Joey, Russ, you guys are both on the starting attack. Talk about your third attackman. Who plays with you, Russ?
Yeah, it's great having Bobby on the field, because with us getting all the attention in a regular team, he would be getting the first guy, but he's not been getting the first, and it leaves him with the best matchup for him.
Yeah.
So he's been getting the step down shots, and it's been really opening up our whole offense.
Yeah, having like a really good third attackman is so under the radar, because he's always getting that third defenseman, just taking advantage of it. So, and you guys are probably taking a lot of the attention off, which is nice.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
let me just check time here. All right. We could probably go live in like 1 minute, right? Want to go live at like 7:25
Sure, whenever you're ready.
with the real show. Talk a little bit more. Let's talk a little bit more about personnel. I love hearing about the makeup of your team, because from us, just so you know, as we follow you guys, we're gonna finally get to see you guys play live in a couple days, which we're really excited about. But we only kind of get to see the stats, you know, and a couple of highlights, because there's not as much televised lacrosse just yet. It's gonna change. I think the streaming game, which is what we're doing right now, we're live streaming. It's gonna change a lot for guys like us who are like kind of lacrosse media people. But talk about guys that like maybe don't show up in the stat book. You mentioned, talk about Bobby. He does show up. Dom, but who else?
Well, Nico, our goalie, has been making insane games. He's been saving the ball at least 60% a game.
Wow.
He's only been letting up at least like five goals a game, about, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been not really been getting a lot of attention, but he's been keeping us in all those games.
Now, Mike, who do you play with the close defense? You guys mostly man-to-man? You play zone? And who are some of the guys that are your comrades there?
We play a little bit of both. Everybody on the defense is new from last year, which is honestly very exciting to me. We play with Trevor Marsala.
Yep.
And Jackson Marr, who's Russell's cousin. Jackson.
Who's your cousin?
My cousin's
Jackson Marr.
Oh, Jackson Marr. Gotcha.
So Jackson is a cool story too, because Jackson stepped up. Nobody thought Jackson was going to be into the lineup right away.
Mm-hmm.
But one of our older starters, AJ, he got hurt. He was returned from last year. He got hurt.
Gotcha.
Jackson stepped up, and he's been playing a huge role so far in all of the games that we've been in.
Cool. Keeping
His role nice and solid. That side of the field locked down.
Yep.
He's been great. And Jack up top. Jack's been great all year. Jack fits his spot very well, and we're very lucky to have him.
What would you rather play, man or zone? Like, what do you enjoy? What aspect of defense is like?
I mean, personally, whichever we switch from, my job doesn't change much. My job is to stay behind the X.
Yeah.
I keep myself on an island back there with whoever wants to come back there with me.
Gotcha.
It's not really going to change for me.
I feel like as an attackman, I wouldn't really want to go on an island with you back there.
Yeah,
I played attack.
every day.
Do you take it easy on these guys in practice, or you're like, nah?
No, never.
It only helps them, right? It only
Yeah.
helps you guys.
We're only making each other better.
Absolutely. And you just grapple with them. It's awesome. I think it's great.
I was Joey. I ran into your dad at it was the Mount Sinai West Hampton girls game. Really good game. He's got a couple recruits in the game.
Yep.
So he was watching, and he had mentioned a matchup that you had of late with Flaherty of Hills
Yeah,
West.
Flaherty, yep.
And he's like, as you know, just as a dad, he's like, I was loving it. They were going at it, going back and forth. What was it like for you matching up against a kid that you know really well, but also one of the better defensemen that are out there?
Yeah, Flaherty's a great player. You know, he's really athletic, really aggressive, and I kind of use that to my advantage because I'm not the biggest, strongest, fastest guy, but
Yeah.
I took his aggressiveness and played it to my strengths.
Gotcha. Was that a scrimmage or was that a?
That was our first game.
Oh, that was the first game of the
Yeah.
season. Gotcha.
What was the score of that contest?
What was it? 17-8 or 9 maybe?
What's the closest game you guys have had this year?
Closest game?
Yep.
Last game.
Yeah, last game.
5.
Yeah.
No, yeah, West.
Yeah, I noticed that. The West Hampton.
West
They
Hampton's
played you
not
tough?
Yeah.
They showed up.
They
Yeah.
played like a packed in 3-3 zone and
Oh, they got a good goalie,
Yes.
right? That kid's going to
Steven
Siena.
Jackson. Where's he
Carey.
going?
He's going to Siena.
Oh, he's going to Siena.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard he was good. I haven't seen him play. I got to check him
Mhm.
out. What's his name?
Andrew Carey.
Yeah, we got to check him out. I've heard good things about him.
We ready to rock and roll?
Ready? You ready to roll?
You
Go
guys are
after it.
good, right? You got this.
Yeah, we're good.
That was
we're
the
good.
pre-show. Get you
Sweet.
in the mood.
Nice
All right.
and warmed up now.
Yeah. All right, so we'll roll the intro and then we'll get after it with the Stangs. Coach Wink, what do you want to do first? What do you want to talk first?
Let's start with the senior.
Alright.
Yeah, we'll start.
Start with you. I got it.
Yeah, you can roll intro. Perfect. But once this intro ends, we're just gonna technically like record.
Got it.
All right, what's up, fellas, ladies, gentlemen? We got some special guests tonight. This is episode 19 of Beyond the Game, and we're gonna be calling this episode "Riding
Riding the Stangs.
because we got the Mustangs, undefeated, one of the best teams in Long Island. Probably can make an argument national, but we don't really talk national. We're more Long Island lacrosse guys. We don't deal with the national teams. We don't really care about outside the island. So
we're on our own island.
We're on our yeah, just not on an island with Mike Sabella. That's the only island I'm not going on. So we're gonna stay on Long Island tonight. We're not gonna go behind the goal. And it's pretty cool bringing you guys on because I know you guys are impact players on your team, but you guys also have unique, different stories. You're different, for the most part. You guys play the game a different way. You guys have probably going off to play at different colleges, which is pretty cool one day. Joey, you'll probably have a lot of decision making to do in a couple years, which is cool. But one thing we want to do to start off the show is just have the audience learn a little bit more about you guys. Talk a little bit about your personal story, what makes you guys unique. So we'll start with Papa Sabella. Let's real quick. I want to put up a picture. Frank, can you put up the picture with that big number 3? Yeah. So that's it's pretty cool, right? That graphic we did.
Pretty cool, yeah.
So that's something that's from our Long Island Lacrosse Journal, which is our digital magazine. We preview every team in the island. So we had you guys as the 3rd ranked team in Suffolk. So I feel like after this season, those rankings will probably shift. And after tonight, during tonight, we're going to talk about who really is the best team on the island, but we'll get into that. But anyway, that's what that number 3 is. We always, just so you guys know how it works, we always talk to the high school coaches before we launch the magazine. We say, hey, give us one senior who best exemplifies what your team is about. So typically, the person that we put in that image is someone that the coaches pick. It's actually not who we pick. We end up asking you guys for a picture if we don't have one, but for us, your coaches obviously selected you, and I think kids should know that because it's a big honor. And I think every team, the culture is a little different. How coaches run things are a little different. And for you guys, Coach Drum, he's the defensive guy, right? He takes a lot of pride in defense. He's a very good defensive coach. Do you want to just talk real quick about what it's like to play defense for your team and what it's like to play for your coaches?
I love playing defense for Coach Drum, being as if he was also, back when he was younger, one of the top players on the island as a whole. Sure. He had his choice at plenty of different schools, went on to play at UMass. He was great. He's in their Hall of Fame. He was great back then, and he's great to play under now. Cool. You love playing for a guy like that. Yep,
absolutely. And for you talk about just being, playing in high school. You talk to your coach playing in high school. One thing that we've actually talked about in our show before, the extinction of the 3-sport athlete, and people also make arguments that it just can't exist anymore. I think you're a prime example of someone who has been really successful in 3 sports, football, wrestling, lacrosse. Can you talk about why you play 3 sports and talk about those experiences playing in those 3 sports?
A lot of people only play one and focus all their time into one, but if you really put your mind to it and work, you could do anything. And when you really care about playing a sport as much as I do, I love football, wrestling, and lacrosse. I would rather not pick between those 3. Mm-hmm. So I just do all 3. And if you really work and the time you have after practices over the summer, you can do whatever. You could do all 3. I didn't play lacrosse until I was in 6th grade. So I had a lot more work in football and wrestling by that time. Mm-hmm. I focused a lot more of my time into lacrosse. But all 3, you always have to be able to focus on everything. And working through all the time that I've said I've put in, and that's how I've gotten to where I am now.
So you're going to go play at Stony Brook next year, starting in the fall. Why did you decide to pursue lacrosse in college over maybe those other sports, which I'm sure you had some opportunities as well?
Well, there's very different cultures behind each one of those sports: football, wrestling, and lacrosse. Wrestling is very tough physically, mentally, etc. And it's not always the most fun sport. You don't have a great time doing it, and you're exhausted a lot. You're sometimes not eating to make weight, and it's just not always the most fun atmosphere. Football and lacrosse is where that differ. I have a tremendous amount of fun playing both of those sports, and it was very tough for me personally to pick between the 2. But once I got down to it, started playing more often, I started to fall in love with this, not even just the sport of lacrosse, but the season and the culture behind it, and especially the team. And I've had a great time playing with all of them. Cool. And that influenced me a lot on what I'd rather do in college.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great perspective.
I'd like to ask Mike about a quote that I found in an article that was done on your wrestling team. And I'm going to read it because I wrote it down this morning and it said, this is from you. Some other teams, this is talking about your wrestling team, some other teams on the island are just a bunch of kids looking out for their own personal success and nobody else's. But this group is different. Explain what you meant by that. I know what you meant by that, but explain to the audience what you meant by that.
a lot of the kids on our team wrestle. Like, obviously, wrestling's very individual as a sport, but the way we view it, we all wrestle for each other, and we put ourselves out on the mat like that, and we put our bodies on the line for everybody that's on the side rooting for you, because in the end, it's a team score that goes up on the board, and it doesn't matter who did what, who got pinned, who didn't. It's like the kids who aren't so great and the kids who aren't expected to win, it's huge if they don't get pinned. It's like a personal victory. It's a team victory, and you root for them, and they go out there and they'll do everything they can to not go on their back. And that's like, know your role. It's kind of like know your role, do your job. And when you get in that scenario, that's so important to the team. And the fact that kids are going out there, sometimes thrown against some of the best kids on the island, and they just fight. They fight with everything they have. They give it all. And when they do that for you, especially me being a senior, it just means the world, and it brings you a lot closer.
I don't know if everybody knows this, but Mount Sinai won the New York State Team Championship this year, right?
Twice in a row.
Twice in a row. I didn't know it was twice in a row. That's quite an accomplishment. Congratulations.
When you work together like we do, you can do anything.
Yeah. Awesome.
Love it.
Congrats.
All right, so let's pass the mic to Russ here. And let's also pull up, Frank, can you pull up that picture number 4? This is our photographer. Actually, no, I grabbed this from your Instagram page.
Yeah.
I thought this was kind of a sweet picture.
Yeah, it was nice.
Before we talk about you, let's just talk about your uniforms real quick, because I think your look is sick.
Yeah, we had a big golf fundraiser this year. We raised a lot of money to get new uniforms.
Nice.
And those sweet lids.
So talk about the lids. Give me a breakdown of like the color scheme, type of helmet. Give me everything.
Yeah, they're nice chrome helmet, and on the back it says Mustangs, and then we got the number on the side, and then yeah, it's pretty dope.
Is the left side blank? So you got number on one side, blank on the other, or do you have a Stang on the?
I think it says like Stangs.
Yeah,
It says
yeah,
Sinai on
it
the
says
side.
Sinai on the side.
Okay, cool. And then, so the black on black, will we be seeing those on Wednesday night as your away unions, or
Yeah.
are those home?
Yeah, nice black on black.
Do you ever mix it up? Do you ever do like black?
No,
and
we
white, or
usually
white,
just keep it white and then black on black.
black? Okay.
We actually probably should think about that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's a talk for another time.
Yeah, I don't have enough time tonight, but it's a big discussion. That's why we wanted to bring it up. So Russ, talk a little bit about your recruiting journey. It's unique because we were at a weird transition time over the last few years where like the early recruiting thing kind of got halted and the rules changed where when college coaches communicate, you committed a little bit earlier. Talk about, when you committed, why you committed, and then talk about what you're doing now.
So in 9th grade, I was in 8th grade the summer. I did a lot of events and was getting recruited by a bunch of colleges. And then that fall, I made the decision to commit to Syracuse University. I was still in 9th grade. And then that following spring, the rule got changed. So there was no contact for months. And then that next junior year, that's when University of Virginia reached out to me. And it was a better academic opportunity for me, so I took it.
Now talk a little bit about like the influence. You talk about grades, school, what you want to study. That's a factor.
Yeah, the studies was a big thing because University of Virginia has a great like history program, and that's what I'm most interested in. So that appealed to me, and also the size. The size was big because Syracuse was more small, and I wanted like more of a state school kind of thing.
Their stadium's pretty nice too.
Yeah.
And it's nice and warm. It's warmer down.
And they're
there.
about to win the national championship in basketball tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
I love how the Auburn fans they started walking away and
Yeah.
celebrating.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Oh,
That was
they?
an awesome game.
Wow.
I went from last, and if they win tonight, I got right to first.
Oh, I love it.
You got
Yeah.
the Cavs?
I got the Cavs.
Oh, good for you.
That's a big pick. That's kind of cool too. I mean, Q's same thing. I mean, they have great sports and everything else. You're getting that similar vibe down in Virginia. It is different. I mean, coaches too. I mean, the Virginia coaches are awesome. We know them.
Yeah.
I know Coach Tiffany through the recruiting process. His assistant is one of the best offensive minds in
Coach
the game.
Kerwin.
So
yeah,
I'm sure that was
their
a factor.
tempo too. I love how they just run and gun, and that really appeals to me because I like just getting the ball at midfield and just going full speed to the cage.
feel
And
like-
that's what they like to do, and they give their players freedom.
And the Stangs kind of play like that too.
Yeah.
You guys like to get up and down.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. Now,
I got a quick question for Russ.
Yeah.
Russ, I found the guy, RJ Marr, Mount Sinai guy, up at Mount St. Mary's in Newburgh. Related?
Yeah, he's my cousin.
Very cool.
nice.
Yeah.
We know Coach Seidman, the head coach. There.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good man. The guy he plays for is a good man.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's cool. Now, before we pass the mic to Joey, talk about what it's like for a kid might be watching tonight who's maybe a couple years younger than you, like Joey, could be in that same position where coaches start calling, contacting, maybe you getting some pressure like, hey, to make a decision.
Yeah.
What's maybe one piece of advice you can give to a kid that's in that situation?
Definitely don't rush and don't worry about what everyone else is thinking, saying go here, go there. Just you gotta at the end of the day look in the mirror and say, where do I really want to go,
Cool.
and where do you see yourself fitting?
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Nice. That's great advice. Awesome. All right, Joey, let's talk to you a little bit before we move on. Let's actually, can you show that picture of the guy in the white uniform? Let's give Sweeney a shout out. I thought that was a cool picture. I think, is that Sweeney?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
that's Sweeney. So those are your white on whites. Those
Oh,
are nice
yeah.
too. I don't know what I
That's
like
so
better.
nice.
I think I like the black better because that's what we're gonna see you in. But anyway, let's show the picture of the Spallina family. I thought it was kind of a cool picture because I know one thing that's evident with your family, Joey. I feel like you guys are very supportive of
Yes,
each
yeah.
other.
Yep.
You're supportive of your dad. You know, I'm sure your mom is supportive of all you guys.
Oh yeah.
In your family, you're an older brother. What's that like being an older brother, or just being the oldest sibling of you have 5 kids in your family, right?
Yep.
What's that like?
5 of us. You know, it's like cool because when I'm, I guess, a junior, senior, like I could play with my brothers, you know, and like win a county with them, and that just means a lot to me, and I think that would be really cool, you know, and like just like besides that, like I also just get to like work with them every day, you know, and like get them to like be as good as like I want to be.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So you feel as though part of your role as an older brother is to kind of push them to be great at something
Yep.
that they like, which is obviously lacrosse.
Yep.
That's cool. And now talk about on the flip side, you're probably the youngest kid, I would assume, on your team.
Yep.
And what's that like being the youngest guy on a team who contributes? Like, you know, what do these guys treat you like, and
Yeah.
how does that affect how you treat your younger brothers and sisters?
Well, they kind of hold me accountable with everything that I do, you know, and they always keep me going, and you know, and like without them, I can't win with a 1-on-6.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta play as a team, and that's what they've done. And especially last year when I was in 8th grade, they kind of took me in, and they were nice, you know, and they were just made me feel like, you know, like, all right, this is like where I want to be, you know, like, you know, this is like a team, you know.
And I feel like besides your teammates who kind of hold you accountable but also
Mhm.
empower you, do you feel as though your offensive coach does the same? You guys want to talk a little bit about what that dynamic's like between like the starters and your offensive coordinator?
Yeah, I mean, we have a pretty close relationship with Coach. He's our gym teacher too, so we also get to see him during school, and we always talk about our games, you know, what we need to do better and work on. And
It's always good to have
Which is cool.
a coach in the building,
Oh,
so you
yeah,
guys can talk lax all day.
definitely.
What was that question you wanted to bring up to the boys? The between the 2 coaches, where they went to school?
Oh, that's
who
a
they'd
good
root
one. We
for?
talked about it before. So, Coach Diaquino was a Albany grad, I believe.
Yep.
And Coach Drum, as Papa Sabella said, is a UMass grad. If they played in a game, who would you guys be rooting for?
I think I gotta go with Coach DeQuina.
Yeah, I got to go with my offensive coordinator.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Can never root for an Albany grad. Got to go with Coach Drum.
I love it. I love it. That would be a good game, though,
That would be a great game.
right?
Yeah, this
Think
year
it'd be-
too.
Absolutely. We want to talk to the boys about the bizarre and normal.
Before we get into that, let's talk reality check. So we have a couple segments, guys, of the show. We have our first segment, reality checks. We talk about different things. So tonight, what we want to talk about, if we're talking real, we're being real here about who the best teams are on Long Island. We want to create a top 10 with your guys' help tonight. So Coach Wink's going to read off 10 schools, and we're going to rank them. Of course, starting with number 1. Your team is obviously in the mix. So we'll start with. We can keep the mic with Papa Sabella, but Coach Wink, we're going to turn it to you. I want you to read off the 10 schools that we're going to rank.
All right,
right
here are
now.
the 10 schools that I selected as the top 10 men's or boys' high schools right now, and they're in no order. I just Garden City, GC as I like to call them, Smithtown West, Mount Sinai, obviously, West Islip, Ward Melville, Shoreham Wading River, St. Anthony's, Chaminade, Massapequa, and Manhasset. Pick them and put them in 10.
That's tough. That's tough.
Well, you got to be confident. We're gonna have to put ourselves at the top.
All right, so we got Mount Sinai, the unanimous number one.
Yeah.
I'm writing that down.
Russ is feeling super confident
I
about.
think St. Anthony's is definitely up there as well. So
I'd give St. Anthony's number 2.
You giving them number 2?
Papa Sabella's and his squad's putting St. Anthony's at 2.
how's
Did you guys hear about the Manhasset game?
They're good.
I
I think
think
Manhasset beat people.
Manhasset had them beat with 1:30 to go, and didn't happen that way. Brendan O'Neill. got the
Manhasset's
ball.
young. They're young, but they're very talented.
They gave St. Anthony's a game, didn't they?
They
They
should
had
have
'em beat.
won.
They had 'em beat.
They should have won.
They should have won that game, but
I feel like Pequot. We saw him play Chaminade. I mean, Chaminade's loaded. They're very good. So you guys probably want to put them in the mix from what we've seen.
Oh, yeah.
So I would probably put Chaminade up there at least at number 3 or 4, right?
They was a
yeah,
good
and,
game.
and you got to throw GC. I mean, they just win state. I mean, they beat Victor last year. They
They got pretty much everyone back except I guess their biggest loss was probably
I guess not. Maybe you know what? They got a good goal. They got 2 good goalies. They lost kids.
you put GC at 4.
I'd probably put Chaminade 3, GC 4.
The Indians at 5. Are we getting Manhasset in there?
No, I'm thinking Smithtown West might be right now. I mean, I'm curious to see the Smithtown West Ward Melville game. I'm gonna go see them play Northport this week. So I haven't seen Smithtown West play this year, but everybody's telling me. I mean, the only loss is 1 goal to GC.
Yeah. So we'll get West up there then.
How about West Islip being undefeated
Yeah, West Side.
and taking it to most of the teams?
Yeah.
I mean,
They return pretty much everyone.
They haven't had a close game, I don't think.
No, they
They
haven't.
play Melville tomorrow.
Yeah, that'll be a good
That's
test.
exciting.
The zone, the Melville Zone. Does anybody know the defensive coach's name at Ward Melville? I know it's like something. I'm going to screw it up. I don't want to screw it. I want to say it's Muscarella. Could that be possible?
Yeah, I think so.
He
Coach Muskie?
kills it.
I think that's
He
yeah.
coaches. He's a coach.
Yeah, they got some athletes too. On the
They
defensive
do.
end.
They got some big boys.
Yeah, they do.
And we
Yeah.
talked about number 30, the Cornell. He's out. He comes back. Oh, the defense is nasty.
Yeah.
The Stangs put up like 12 on them in a scrimmage, though. That's all I'm saying.
You know what would be cool? You know what they do in basketball? After you win the state championship, they take the A, B, and C, and now D, and they play each other. Like the state champs
Love
play each
that.
other for one state champ.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be pretty cool.
Maybe we can do like a non-sanctioned tournament, kind of.
Definitely.
I don't know if you heard though, we're bringing the senior all-star game back.
I didn't.
So our GOAT USA teams.
Yeah.
So which we were sleeping on you last year, I believe. Did we have Papa Sabella on the GOAT team
You
last year?
don't know.
Yeah, we were sleeping last year. I saw it. We'll make it up. So we're doing 25 goats in Suffolk, 25 goat seniors in Nassau, and we're playing a game. And we're gonna like just completely blow it up. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna get you guys gear. We're gonna get you guys goat gear. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, it's
we're
gonna be
gonna
cool.
get
That
after it.
sounds pretty sick.
Yeah, we're gonna go under the lights. We're gonna
We're gonna do a girls,
gonna be-
boys.
yeah,
same
girls
night.
and boys are gonna be the same
A
night.
little social.
We got a
That's cool.
yeah, it's legit. We got
Mar, you were at the red carpet event.
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah,
your
Mar's-
dad. I met
Yeah,
your
it was
dad
good.
that
Mar
night.
was a goat.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was cool, right?
Yeah, it was good.
Joey's a YG. He's a young goat.
Did Joey's
You're
too
not
young.
you're not even eligible yet. We can't
Yeah.
even crown you a goat yet, but soon enough. Yeah. So anyway, sorry we got sidetracked, but so in the mix, so we're throwing Smithtown West at 5,
Yeah. Well,
and then you're putting the Indians out there at
who
6.
did we have at 4? We had GC at 4, Smithtown West at 5.
What about Melville?
Yeah, we gotta put Melville up
I
there.
guess it's hard because Melville has. I mean, when's the last time Melville lost?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
years.
guess regular season last year.
I feel like West has to beat Melville
yeah, to get in front of them.
to probably get in front of them.
Yeah, so we'll go Melville, then West Islip, then Manhasset.
Who are we missing?
Well, the Manhasset
Shoreham?
Pequot game hadn't been played. They were supposed to play.
Yes.
Wait, is it Massapequa Shoreham?
Yeah,
Those are the two teams that are left?
Yeah, Pequot and Shoreham.
Pequot and Shoreham. I would say Manhasset,
I haven't
Pequot, and
s- I haven't
Shoreham
seen Shoreham
are
yet,
8,
that's
9,
why.
and 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can't put them in an order yet.
No.
But I got to tell you, the X Factor at Shoreham,
Xavier.
I wouldn't want to cover him. You're going to have to cover him, aren't you?
Depends where he is.
What do you mean?
Because they might play him up top.
I'm
Oh,
not,
you
I don't
think-
really follow up top.
Gotcha. So
Oh, he-
Xa-
That
he's
would,
been
that would
playing
be
up
top.
Jackster. That would be Jacksters.
that would be Jack.
He goes from the wing to X.
Come on, Mikey Sabels.
If he
follow
comes
him
to
around.
X, he's all me.
Follow him around. Follow him around. Yeah, he's special, though. He is special. I love watching that kid play. He's got a gear.
If I get one pick to put someone on the Sabella Island, it'd probably be Xavier.
Oh, absolutely.
Not on Mount Sinai, I'm saying. He's probably the guy.
Oh, he's the guy.
Very
he's absolutely
two-handed,
the guy.
really good first step, good change of direction.
Yeah, he's fat. I played with him, I had to deal with him during football.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's very familiar for me.
Yeah,
Our
Cold
sisters
Spring
actually
Harbor did a
lived
really
together.
good job
Oh,
on
do they?
football.
You hear that? Sabella's sister and ex's sister, they're roommates.
They
in
actually,
college at
yeah, they're
Stony Brook.
roommates.
They're Stony Brook.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
they
our
play for
families are
Coach
pretty
Spallina.
tight.
That's cool.
We're pretty tight knit.
Oh, that's very cool. I love that. Let's do the girls real quick. Got to give the girls some
All
love.
right.
Because the Stang girls are pretty legit,
They're awesome.
as you guys know. Mr. Albertolone.
Do you have 10 schools? Or you're gonna?
I got 10.
All right,
Come
give
on.
us 10 schools.
Here are my 10. Ready?
Such
Cold
wax
Spring
on.
Harbor, state champs last year, beat Mount Sinai by 1 in the Long Island L.
Yeah.
Usually that LIC winner wins it. So it's Cold Spring Harbor, Mount Sinai, ESM, Manhasset, who, by the way, was ranked 2 in the country,
Wow.
played the 1 McDonough.
And they,
You heard about the stall?
yeah, they stole.
Oh,
like,
it's
the
so-
next minute.
Ooh. That's got to change. West Babylon, who is legit. They just played Mount Sinai, a girl down,
Yeah.
almost the whole game, and lost by 1. St. Anthony's, who we watched Saturday. Oof,
Got a lot of Stony Brook
Oh.
on that team.
you're good. Your dad's very lucky. Your dad recruits well. Sacred Heart's really good. Another parochial. Bayport.
Bayport's good.
Give Coach Gick some love. And then I threw this team in because they had a big win the other day, even though Olivia Carner was hurt for Northport. Smithtown East.
Smithtown East.
Got to give them some love.
That was
Great
a good win
win.
against Northport.
Great win for Coach Ann Norton.
Yeah, we
and
had
then
North-
Garden City, who has won more state championships in girls lacrosse. And I think Mattituck deserves a little conversation.
I think
But they're 11.
I think what we should do is we should take a little bit more time to analyze this top 10 and spit it out, because I feel like we need to see some of these teams.
I also
feel like
want
we
to hear
haven't seen-
comments from the people on watching the show.
You're getting a lot of comments right now. I have it up here, so
The boys.
tune in. The Stangs are getting a lot comments right now. You might want to. You might want to.
Oh yeah, they're getting comments.
Check out the boys.
There's a lot of
Uh-oh,
comments
uh-oh.
coming in. I can't even keep
They
up.
just got home.
Our guy.
Coach Spallina gave Sabella a shout out. 3-sport all-county athlete, multi-sport studlete. Coach Bertolone said, "What's up, fellas?" John Munoz, "What up, Hugh?"
Who is John Munoz?
Papa Russ,
John
Mr.
Munoz
Mayor,
is really
great
funny.
job, boys. Love it.
He's talking about Rocky Point's girls varsity swim team.
What are your thoughts about Sevi going down again? Who's Sevi? Dominic Milani said.
Who's Sevi? I don't know.
It's a great question.
Dom, who's
Couldn't
Sevi?
tell you if I wanted to.
We don't know who Sevi is.
And who's you, Janice? Is that one? That's one of your boys because they're talking. They're asking you about. They're talking to you, Russ.
They're giving
Ross, you got
they're giving Russ a hard time about sweating, but I'm sweating too, so I don't blame
It's so
him.
hot. in here.
It's so damn hot in here.
And you got your sweatshirts on.
Russ, I'm with you, dude. I'm sweating my ass off right now. Let's talk real quick about each of you guys. Who are some of your favorite coaches? Good question that just came in. Talk about some of your favorite coaches and maybe influences growing up. Could be any. Doesn't have to be a lacrosse coach. Could be anybody.
I have a lot. I think I'm gonna have to pass and go back to me later.
Okay. All right. Let's start with Russ.
Coaches,
Make sure you talk close to the mic for me.
Coaches. I'd have to go with Eric Spoelstra when he was on the Heat, because he brought that team from nothing, and then LeBron and Dwayne Wade. That was just an awesome team.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, I like that coach.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna say something from his life.
Yeah, me too. I like it though.
It is his life.
Yeah.
I gotta go with my dad. He's just a big influencer, and he's just a great guy to be around. He's taught me pretty much everything I know,
Yeah.
which is good, which is fun.
Got to be cool to have a guy who's influenced you as a coach. Also, your dad. You go home. You guys probably
Yeah.
get a little
Oh yeah,
X's and O's session in the Spallina
100%,
household.
100%.
You guys break down some film there.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
That
Oh,
is
yeah.
cool. Now, in the house, what do they call your dad? What does your mom call your dad, and what does she call you?
Wow. My mom just Joe, obviously.
And you're Joey?
Joey.
Got it.
Joey, yeah.
At what point were you differentiated as Joey? Was that pretty
Um,
early on there?
Yeah, definitely. Or when my mom gets mad, it's a hard Joseph.
Yes. Yes. Expected
And then you're just like, oh god,
I'll be in trouble.
here we go.
that. Straighten up.
All right,
Okay, Sabella, I want to hear
Sabella,
Sabella's.
talk to us.
Got to have some great coaches.
So when I was a freshman, my first varsity sport, I got pulled up as a freshman, and it was right away they threw me in there. John Glenn, back when they were a huge powerhouse team.
Is this
Sport.
football?
Football.
Okay, gotcha.
So fall freshman year,
Got you.
I get thrown in against two returning all-state linemen. They throw me in as a D tackle because I'm faster than the other linemen. that was the strategy. They wanted to outspeed them off the ball. So they throw me in there, and my coach Giorlando, who he's conditioning, he's defense. He really instilled the confidence in me that I belonged there. That even at such a young age, when not a lot of freshmen get to play varsity football.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Joey got to. But I got pulled up. I was the first person, I think, in school history to start as a freshman in a varsity football game, and I was scared out of my mind. I really wasn't ready to play, and he was the one who made me realize that I belonged there. So I really owe everything to him.
Well, you kind of talked earlier in the show about how you put your mind to something, you feel as though you can do it. Do you feel as though like that moment kind of stuck with you, and that mindset is something that you've kind of like kept throughout your career?
Yeah, pretty much. From then on, I just knew that that's where I belonged.
Yeah.
I belonged under the spotlight, you know?
That's cool. Nice. I love it. All right, we got to keep it rolling here because we're running out of time, unfortunately. But listen,
We could do this all night.
yeah, we can do it all night.
We could
Let's
talk all
talk.
night.
Let's talk
these
stock
days.
game. Let's see what's going on.
Bizarre
out
and
there.
normal.
Yeah, bizarre and normal. So, so our next topic, bizarre and normal, is like, hey, what happened 20 years ago might have seemed bizarre. Today, it's kind of normal, and then things could even switch. Like something back then that was normal is now today is bizarre. So we're gonna talk stock game. Can you pull up, Frank, the picture of that kid who's playing with the
Yellow
white?
helmet.
It's like an Instagram
One
snapshot
over. Yeah,
there.
that's him.
So that's Dylan Palinetti. He's a pretty good lefty attackman. Plays for Melville.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's okay. What do you got? What are your thoughts on the one high sock? Palinetti's signature one high. Russ, what are you thinking?
I feel like if you have one high sock, you might as well just go both. So, yeah, but I like it. It's a new style.
Joey, what are you thinking?
I like it. I just wish he went too high socks because when I was a 7th grader, I would wear those kinds of socks. You know, that would go up to your knee, and it was like something that I would freak out about if I forgot it on game day. that was just something that I had to wear.
So you guys are you more of a balanced sock guy too, Mike? Talk about the length. What are you feeling?
Very blue collar and original, just white mid calves. I mean, personally, I would have never done that, but I when you're a well-known athlete like that,
Yeah.
I feel like you could do whatever and people just catch on to it. You got to be confident in yourself.
Yeah.
That people will catch on.
Yeah, I feel you on that. It's different, and I like different. Sometimes it's like, all right, what has been done already, what hasn't been done yet, and it's sometimes cool to see that. But I agree. I'm with you. I would feel out of balance. I feel like if I just had one sock that was like right there and one that was like an ankle sock, I'd be like, I don't know. I need that balance.
Are you
know, I
guys
feel like that's
superstitious?
important.
You guys superstitious?
I am pretty superstitious. Yeah. I have to wear the same shirt. Not like socks or anything. I got to wear the same shirt to every game. I have to do the same eye black pattern. Every time I get into the locker room, walk right to the back of the locker room, find my goalie Nico. He always has to be the one to put it on. I can't switch sticks. Like if it breaks, I have to get the same exact shaft, same exact head, same exact color. It's got to be the same exact thing. The day before one of our games, my head broke during practice, and I had to go to Lacrosse Unlimited. I waited there for them to string a new head. I had to be the same exact way. I couldn't play with a different clay stick. I just couldn't do it.
I like the consistency. That's good.
Yeah, the string
Consistency is king.
consistency.
That's why. Listen,
Yeah.
That's why we're gonna give a shout out to our sponsor, String King. Consistency is king right there. Our boys are gonna get some String King mesh after. Excuse me. And I'm sorry, a little product placement. Mark 2A, and we're also gonna give out a Mark 2D to the players of the game. Let's talk real quick about our String King matchup on Wednesday. 'Cause
Ooh.
this is the last segment, boys.
Ooh.
This is pretty cool. So just so you guys know, this is a historic Beyond the Game episode because we've never had 3 starters from a team on our show before an actual shrinking game of the week. So we're pretty pumped to have you guys. Yeah, we talk about the ComSwag matchup. I know last year you guys lost a tough one. You want to talk about that?
No, they
game?
won it.
I'm sorry, you won last
You
year.
almost lost it.
You almost lost that one. This year, do you expect it to be a close game again?
It's ComSwag. You always got to be ready for them. I mean, it doesn't. What the great thing about playing them is because us and them, bad blood, obviously.
Why is that obvious though? Talk about why it's bad blood between you and ComSwag.
When you watch us play them, it always gets chippy. We all know each other from when we were kids. So
Yeah.
growing up, knowing each other, all getting ready to play, it's hyped up. We talk to each other.
Yep.
We
Snack
talk
talk.
dirty about each other before the game. We get into it. And the best part is, even if one team or the other was just that much better, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like you get onto the field with them, it's always going to be a good game.
Yep. What are you most excited about this game, Russ?
I'm just excited for the atmosphere because whenever you're playing ComSwag, it's always a great rivalry. Last year was 4-3. We didn't have that much shots, but then Tyler Gatz won it for us in overtime, and that was an awesome goal.
Yeah.
And hopefully we win again tomorrow.
Talk about the atmosphere. Joe, you played in the game last year as well,
Yep.
right? Does both communities just come out and just get
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
for it?
There was a lot of people there.
That's pretty cool. Because just so you guys know,
Last year,
like
yeah.
this is actually, to us, it baffles our mind, and we're trying to change it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cultural thing on Long Island where some of the best lacrosses, boys and girls in the country, high school games are not very well attended. So
Yeah.
like we're like, why are not thousands of youth kids at these games? This game on Wednesday night, there's gonna be a huge crowd. We're
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
pumped
definitely,
for that. It's gonna be
definitely.
cool.
Yeah,
So
it's
you guys
gonna be
have
cool.
some younger kids that come and support you guys. Is that big in the community?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we have our youth coaches. You know, they all promote us. They know us.
Yeah.
So they all probably talk about us and tell their kids to come to our games and come out and support.
Yeah, that's cool, and they should, because this game's gonna be awesome.
I love about going to these games is the student sections, especially of ComSwag. When you're like the higher profile players on both of our teams, like the 3 of us, we're gonna get heckled. They're gonna come after us. They're gonna be talking all game. We're gonna hear it, and I love that. I honestly find it awesome.
They have obviously a lot of talent. ComSwag, you know, they could have arguably the best goalie. I mean, I believe he's one of the best goalies in the country. I mean, that kid's good. You guys are going to have to put it in the right spots, as you know. But I also think Pete Mitchell's one of the best defensive coaches. To hold you guys to 4 goals. I mean, think of how many games you've been held to 4 goals. You know what I mean? Like when Corey was in college, they held Duke to 3 goals. They had never been held to 3 goals ever under Danowski. So it's unbelievable for him to do it. And he does it all man to man?
He sticks. I think he sticks with his own.
He does go zone.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he's got a lot of good defensemen. I'm curious.
Coach Wink, quick prediction. What do you think? What do
That
you got
game?
tomorrow night, Wednesday night.
Oof. I mean, it's going to be a low-scoring game. Like I can't see it going double digits. If you guys can get in a transition game, then you might be able to get it there. But I'm going to say like 7-6.
7-6 Stangs.
Yeah, 7-6.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a very close game. You got to have a shout-out to your super soft, that kid who's had the game winner.
Gats. That kid's a stud.
That kid's a stud.
He's legit,
That
and he's
kid-
clutch too. Like, he's tough. He's skilled.
I love that kid's game.
That kid could be the difference maker too. That's another guy that's kind of under the
You
radar.
know
right now.
Mitchell's been scouting these guys.
I don't think it matters. Like Mike was saying,
he
it
lives
doesn't-
in Mount Sinai.
it
You guys
doesn't
are
matter.
probably friends with his
He
daughters.
could be in the trees watching your practice tonight, like tomorrow.
Every game I think of us.
Oh yeah, he's up. He's a mad scientist on defense.
He's an animal on defense. I love that.
He coached Corey once for a summer on the Empire team, and
Yeah,
I thought he was one of the finest
He just
coaches
would
he's ever
double
played
everywhere.
for.
He's not
He's a
scared.
very good coach.
Can you give before we have to give a quick shout out to the 3 young ladies that hit some
right.
milestones. So one thing we started doing is talking milestones for some boys and girls on Long Island for their schools. So give a shout out. I'll give the first shout out because I actually saw her score. Karen Hauser, who plays, she's a senior going to Stony Brook to play for your dad. She broke the career goals record for Hicksville today. Hunter Isnardi, who's like one of the best midfielders. She's at Mercy. She's one of the best midfielders in D2. She could probably play for your dad's team. She's that good. So she just broke her record, which is cool. So shout out to Karen. Really, really proud of you. Congrats. Karen, actually, I don't know if you know this, Joey. She coaches in our program. She's an assistant coach for our 7th grade team, which is cool. She's a great influence on young girls, and she's an absolute stud. Your dad's getting a really good player, and she's such a hard worker too. So that's Karen, and we got if you follow our Instagram, you'll see her kind of like career breaking.
The one who broke it, right? You got a video of the one that broke the record.
The one that that broke the record.
Shattered.
I was just trying to film everything, so we got it. And then there's 2 other girls. Give those other 2 shout outs, Coach.
Well,
Mike.
we posted this one, and Ashley Gonzalez, who's going down to Florida, who's going to be a menace for your old man. They always play a 1-goal game. She broke 200 points last week.
As a junior, which is pretty crazy.
As a junior.
She's only a junior.
Yeah. And then I think it was yesterday. Was it yesterday Brianna broke 200?
Yeah. Oh, no, maybe it was Saturday.
Brianna Lamoureux from Rocky Point. We talk about Rocky Point.
You guys know her?
Yeah.
Brianna Lamoureux?
You guys know her?
I used to go to school there.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Oh, you lived in Rocky Point before Mount Sinai?
Till 6th grade.
Okay.
So you know, because your uncle coaches over there, right?
Yeah, or he did, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he used to coach girls. But he probably coached Brianna. She just broke 200 points, and she's going to be a Terp. She's going to
Is
Maryland.
she a junior or senior?
I think she's a senior.
She's senior? Okay.
I believe she's a senior.
All right, nice.
So congrats to those 3 Lady
Yeah.
Laxers.
So hopefully, we'll be talking about you guys with some milestones in a few years.
There's only
Mike,
one milestone,
college,
just so
and
you know.
your chance.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll be getting some milestones from Mike in college.
I'm going to tell you something. There's only one milestone, and that's to win the state championship. And
That's
before
it.
you do that, you got to win the county.
Yep.
It's
All right.
funny. I was talking to Islip the same way last year, just so you know. It's
All right.
time.
We got the number 1. This is our first mid-season ranking. This is the number 1 now, Mount Sinai, because we just built it, and we'll be releasing that this week in the weekly reveal. We have to agree. You're undefeated. You guys have been rolling through each team, and we're excited to see you guys on Wednesday. So thanks for coming on the show tonight. You guys did a great job.
Thank you.
All right, boys.
Hope to keep it going.
All right,
Thank you.
Frank, we'll do show close, and we'll be good to go.
Good job, man.